if you crochet or knit or cross stitch or do anything in the fibre art community, then like me, you've probably watched quite a lot of TV over the years. If that is the case, this video is for you because I'm going to go through what I think you should watch as a fibre artist, specifically a crocheter, and why. I'm Jessie of Crochet by Jessie. Welcome to my channel, or welcome back to my channel, and let's get into today's video. The recommendations that I'm going to be giving you guys today are going to be what I refer to as a meaty series. And by that, I mean it's a series that has either got loads of episodes out already, one that I think is going to end up with loads of episodes that's currently ongoing, or one where the episodes are just really long in general. I'm also going to do a variety of genres that I have personally watched. I've got some funny ones, more light-hearted ones. I've got a few true crime ones because I feel like fibre art and true crime, there's such an overlap and so many of us love true crime. I genuinely don't know why, but I see this all the time. So yeah, without further ado, let's get into my recommendations. Recommendation number one. If you like a bit of what I refer to as trash TV, then this is 100% a series that you are going to love. The second season only came out literally last month, I think it was, so it's still quite fresh, but they're already filming for season 3. It's going to be one of those series where I think the third season's literally going to be out this year at this rate, and that is The Secret Lives of Mormon Wives. You may have heard of this series but just not watched it yet. It is pretty big out there and very popular, and honestly guys, it is so worth the watch. For me, it's one of those series where you can still crochet whilst paying attention to it. It's not like you're missing out on anything whilst you crochet. And I just find it really, really entertaining. I can literally sit and watch so many episodes in a row whilst I'm working on a crochet project. It's such easy watching, which I think is also amazing when you want to have a crochet day. So they've got, I believe, I may be wrong, but it's either 8 to 10 episodes in each season, and then obviously a third season on the way, and each episode's about an hour or so. So yeah, definitely consider that if you like a little bit of trash TV. The second series is one that I personally grew up with, that I still go back to every so often, that I really enjoy, and that is Pretty Little Liars. Yeah, it is a bit basic, but let's be real, it's easy watching. If you've already seen it before and maybe saw it a good few years ago, then you kind of know the plot, so you don't even have to focus quite as much as well. And there are so many episodes. There are, goodness, I want to say 7 seasons. Don't hold me to that because I haven't seen it for a while. But yeah, there are so many episodes in each season, and it is just one of those ones where even if you're not fully watching it, because let's say it's like a rerun or something for you, you can have it on in the background and kind of zone in and out. And yeah, I feel like a series for that's perfect when you do want to kind of focus more on your project, but you do want something on the TV, because if you're like me, I don't like crocheting in silence. I have to have something on. So that's why I rely on all of these TV shows and podcasts that I'm recommending to you guys. The next series is one that I really got through like every single episode a good couple years ago, and it's a bit light-hearted. It has some serious moments, but for the most part it is just quite carefree and comedic, and it is a classic, and that is The Big Bang Theory. I myself used to watch quite a lot of it over the years, but I realised it was kind of like I would watch an episode when it was on the TV, and then I never really started from the beginning and just watched all the way through to the end until I made the decision to do that. And that was such a perfect series to have on whilst I was crocheting, because you don't even have to be watching it as much. You can really just listen to it whilst you're crocheting and kind of look up and down as and when. So I found that really, really useful, and I feel like this might be one of the biggest series program count wise, I would say, with the amount of episodes. I'd have to have a look and physically get the episodes up, so I'm going to put the number here of how many episodes there are, because yeah, I'm honestly not sure. I just know that there are so many that it kind of got to the point that when I finished it, you know when you finish a really long series that it's just like your series you rely on loads, and then it's done and you just don't know what to do with yourself. I majorly had that when I finished this series. Another light-hearted series which I love because every season is different because the main cast are different, that is Taskmaster. I'm watching the current season of Taskmaster at the moment, and honestly I really do feel like it just gets better and better. Every episode is different, every episode will make you laugh, you can kind of zone in and out as well, and there are like, I think we might be on season 19 now, and there's 10 episodes a season to give you guys a little bit of context, so there are so many episodes, and every season has a different group of comedians, so they all bring something different, and no two series really feel the same, I would say, in comparison to it. And I love it so much. Very easy watching, loads of episodes, so it's kind of perfect for a crocheter. The next recommendation is a series that I'm still getting through. I think I'm on season 4 and there's either 5 or 6 seasons, I need to remember, but that is What We Do in the Shadows. If you like dark humour mixed with vampires and modern day craziness, and just, it genuinely is such a crazy program, but in the best way possible. I don't think I've had a program make me laugh quite as much as this one, because they just hit the nail on the head with the comedy aspect of it and the dark humour and just the balance of everything. And yeah, it is amazing. I'm kind of like hesitating to finish the last seasons because I don't want it to be over, because I know that it has just finished recently. But yeah, it's such a good watch. And yeah, if you guys like dark humour, you like comedy, then this is definitely a series that you'll love. This next series kind of goes between comedy to a slightly more serious tone, but the dark humour, you'll know that I love dark humour based on some of my previous choices, but the dark humour is so spot on that there are moments that are funny that shouldn't be funny, but they just are. And this series that I'm referring to is called House. House has been out for quite a while. It started, goodness, years ago, really. And there are loads of episodes, there are loads of seasons, and it's really entertaining. It's based in a hospital, and you've got Dr. House, who just doesn't want to be there and really shows it. That he's not subtle with showing how much he hates being there. And I don't want to give too much away, but basically he's on a team that diagnose the cases which no one else can diagnose, and it's just a really fascinating series overall. I'm personally someone who couldn't really get into Grey's Anatomy, just because based on when I wanted to start it, there were so many spoilers out there that I started watching the series, fell in love with characters, but then I kind of already knew what was going to happen to a lot of the characters, and then I didn't want to see that happen. So I think I stopped watching it partway through season 2 because I was just starting to get sad already. But with House, you probably don't have many spoilers out there because it's an older show, and I just feel like spoilers weren't really put out there as much as Grey's Anatomy in comparison. So if you like Grey's Anatomy or series like that, or just hospital dramas, then definitely give House a watch. The next series, I think the next couple ones that I'm going to be recommending are going to be more to mystery, true crime, that kind of genre overall, because that is personally my favourite. I really do like a mystery, crime, thriller, documentary, series in general, all that kind of stuff. So the first one that I'm going to recommend to you guys is a series that's on Netflix. It's a remake of an old series which had loads of seasons. So when I say this, I'm referring to I think it's 6 seasons that are currently on Netflix, and that is Unsolved Mysteries. Unsolved Mysteries is amazing, and it's really good to watch because, first of all, it's a different case for every single episode. So it's not like you're making a big commitment overall. So if you do want something that you can kind of dip in and out of and not watch all the time but still have to rely on, then Unsolved Mysteries is perfect for that reason. I also think that the cases they choose are just really fascinating. Obviously they're still unsolved, hence the name of the title, and it really leaves you thinking, which I just love a series where I just think loads about it after, and I think about the possibilities and just wonder what the actual outcome was and what the truth is, and will we ever find out, essentially. So yeah, for me, that is definitely one of my top ranked true crime, Unsolved Mysteries-esque kind of series ever. And I cannot recommend it enough. They've been getting seasons out fairly consistently, I want to say. It was once every 2 years, and then I think they did like a 2-parter recently with some additional episodes. And yeah, they're really cool. They'll really leave you thinking. So cannot recommend that enough. The next series is, I think, my favourite crime series that is inspired by true crime, but not actually real, essentially. And that is Criminal Minds. Criminal Minds is such an amazing series. There are, goodness, we're currently in the UK, season 18 is currently having an episode every single week updated, and I'm so happy because I've missed it so much, so I'm just so pleased it's back. But essentially with Criminal Minds, there were 15 seasons to start off. The season was then cancelled overall after that, so the series was done. And then amazing fans basically said, no, I don't want it to be done. And it was brought back. So season 16, 17 and now 18 is a different version where it's Criminal Minds Evolution, which I really like as well because I think it has a slightly darker tone, and people listening are going to be going darker tone like Criminal Minds is already a bit dark. You'll get what I mean when you watch it. And I really like that they kind of changed the overall structure, because initially in the episodes, which worked perfectly and I really enjoyed, for the most part it would be a crime case or a serial killer case, for example. And then after that, it would then move on and it would just kind of continue. And sometimes there were 2-parters, 3-parters, or there was like an ongoing case in the background, which wasn't really focused on much. And then it kind of would come to the surface every so often. But I feel like with Criminal Minds Evolution, it's one main storyline that is just kind of consistently going throughout the seasons. And yeah, more is happening at the same time. So there are still some other cases going on, but it's such a dominant feature throughout the later seasons that I just liked the kind of the change of pace of it. I found it really interesting. And yeah, because there are so many episodes, you guys, it will take a very long time for you to get through all of them, which is perfect, because if you want a series that takes that long, then you found one. A lot of people that have watched Criminal Minds have also seen Bones, or would recommend Bones. Bones is amazing. It's about a forensic anthropologist. I think I said that right. And it's such a great series. It's got 12 seasons, I believe. Again, it started around the same time in the early to mid 2000s, like Criminal Minds did. And yeah, it's another great one. It's a very different perspective on crime, though, I would say. And I've not seen anything particularly replicated in that same kind of structure with that same degree of success. I've probably worded that weirdly, but it's amazing. It's a really, really interesting watch. And yeah, there are so many episodes. I think it's at least, goodness, I might be remembering wrong, but I think it's something like 20 episodes a season, and then there are 12 seasons. Maybe not the last one. The last one might have less episodes because obviously it's the final season. But yeah, Bones is a really good watch as well. So if you like Criminal Minds and you haven't watched Bones, give it a go. My last 2 recommendations are actually going to be podcasts. One is going to be an ongoing podcast that is relatively new, but the actual episodes are really, really long, and you can just tell there's going to be so many, and I'm so excited. I'm already in love with this podcast. And the other one is a podcast which has finished, but there are so many episodes to it, and it is just so entertaining. I will also point out now that you really should watch these on YouTube, because the physical comedy, you can't see all of it obviously in audio form, and it's so worth watching it. So yeah, definitely do consider that. But the first podcast is by Call Me Chris and Selena Spooky Boo. It's called the Can't Sleep Podcast. And guys, I love it so much. If you've seen a few of their collaborations in videos already, they are such good friends and such a good combination of people when it comes to just watching them, because they are so funny together. And when I first heard that they announced that they were doing a podcast, I was so looking forward to it, because even just seeing some of the specials where they do like a video every so often together, getting to see them in podcast form and knowing it will be far more consistent, I was so looking forward to it. And honestly, I was right to look forward to it, because it's really entertaining. They talk about anything and everything. There's a lot of paranormal aspect to it, which if you watch a lot of their videos in general, then you're going to understand that. Lots of true crimes, just spooky things in general, but also just loads of random stuff and life. And I love it because their podcast, there's structure, but if they have like a trail of thought that they just kind of want to go off on, they'll do it. And it's amazing, and it just works so nicely. So it's really, really chilled watching. You'll still find yourself laughing. You can focus on your project whilst you're watching them. I myself have been crocheting literally every single time I've watched an episode of their podcast. And I'm really excited just to see the next one, because they basically come out every Sunday at the moment, I believe. And yeah, it's something that I really do look forward to. The second podcast that I would recommend for you guys to watch, it is by Danielle Hallen and John Lorden, and it is called Crime After Crime. I am sad to say that this podcast is done. So it is finished, and I was honestly really upset when it was first announced that they were going to be finishing it, because I was one of those people where every single month where an episode would be dropped, I would be on it like that same day to watch it, or the next day at the latest. And I just found they made such a light-hearted version of true crime in general by adding a bit of comedy into it, and like the topics of every single month, it was really funny or it was really fascinating, and there was such a twist to it. And yeah, there are some slightly darker episodes because that's what you would expect with the genre, but it's just some really fascinating take on true crime, which I just feel like I've not really seen another podcast that does it quite like they did. I remember it being out and consistently having episodes drop whilst I was still in uni, so it was the podcast that I would always listen to as I was commuting to and from uni, because it was just one of those things I like to zone in on. And I really also enjoy just rewatching the episodes on YouTube whilst I'm crocheting, because if I've not seen the episodes in a while, I want to rewatch them because they're so fun. Both of the two sets of hosts for both podcasts I've recommended, I feel like they really complement each other, and it was just so well done that these two sets of people decided they wanted to make a podcast together, because yeah, they just bring so much goodness out of each other, and just the balance and just all of it. It just flows perfectly, and it makes it great watching that you can really get into while still doing projects at the same time. So those are all of the TV series and YouTube podcasts that I have to recommend, which I think you guys should listen to whilst you're crocheting or doing any other form of fibre arts. If you guys happen to have a go-to series or a series that you would just recommend to people that maybe you're watching at the moment, then let us know in the comments below. And even if there's a series that you're thinking of watching but you haven't watched yourself, let us know, and if anyone's watched it, then they can tell you if it's worth it. Thank you guys so much for watching today's video, and if you've gotten to this stage but you're not yet subscribed, please consider doing so, as well as pressing the bell to be notified when my next video is up. And until then, I will see you next time. Bye!